This is a lecture from Open Tuition. To benefit from the lecture, you should download the free lecture notes from opentuition.com.
So let's pull everything together with the first example that we've got to look at with regards to the functional currency. What it wants us to go through and do there is to look at how this transaction will be recorded in Jones's financial statement. So financial statements being statements of profit or loss, statements of financial position, if you so wish, statements of cash flows. And it says there at the top, Jones Inc. has its functional currency of the US dollar. So everything that it goes through and enters into with regards to transactions, it doesn't matter what currency it is, it will need to be translated into that functional currency. Okay, so if it's a different currency to the dollar, it needs to be translated. It says there it trades with several suppliers overseas and bought goods. So we've made a purchase costing 400,000 dinar on the 1st of December 2015. So we will need to find out what the exchange rate was there on the 1st of December 2015. So down at the bottom there, we can see that we have the historic rate, can't we? Okay, which is 4.1 dinars to the dollar. Okay. Jones paid for the goods on the 10th of January 2016. So this is clearly a credit purchase. So when we pay for the goods, we will need to look at the rate that's in place on that date, being the 10th of January 2016. So again, even though it's a different date and the rate's different, we still do refer to it as the historic rate. Okay, so the historic rate on the 10th of January is 4.4 dinars to the dollar. Your year end is it as the 31st of December. So we will need to therefore at the 31st of December 2015 identify what's monetary and what's non-monetary. Anything monetary we retranslate, gains and losses to profit or loss. Anything non-monetary we do not retranslate, do we? So what we've got there is, if we go through there and look at, is it the 1st of December 2015, what you've got there is that you've made a credit purchase. So let's do the difficult bit first, shall we? Get the journal entry. So we debit my purchases and credit my payables, don't we? But with how much? That's the key issue, isn't it? Well, it's 400,000 dinars, isn't it? The rate that was in place on that date, I think, was it 4.1. Okay, yeah, 4.1 dinars to the dollar. So 400,000 divided by 4.1 in terms of dollars gives me there 97561. There we go. So that's the amount of dollars that you would record in Jones's financial statement. If you like, that's your initial recognition, isn't it? Debit purchases, credit payables. Then what happens is it there on the 31st of December 2015. That's the reporting date, isn't it? And what we need to do there is we need to identify monetary and non-monetary items. So if we go through there and think about the non-monetary, then what you have there is that you have your inventory, don't we? So your inventory you will leave. You do not translate it. So your closing inventory is there at 97561. Okay, that's your closing inventory at the end of the year. It's non-monetary, so you do not retranslate it. However, you do have your monetary items, don't we? And what's readily convertible to cash here is your payable, isn't it? So we need to go through there and convert the 400,000, don't we, at the end of the year. The closing rate that you've got there at the end of the year, the 31st of December 2015, is at 4.3 dinars to the dollar. So your monetary at the end of the year, your monetary payable is 93023, isn't it? So that's what you would show on the statement of financial position, isn't it? Okay. However, what you've got there is that the payable was 97561. So what you've got there, therefore, is that there is a reduction in the payable. So 97561 less 93023 to bring it down to what it is now. You have a reduction in your payable of 4538. That reduction is going to go through there, isn't it, through the statement of profit or loss as an exchange gain or loss. You can determine whether or not it's a gain or whether it is a loss, because what you've got there is, if you think about your payable is a credit balance. So to reduce a credit balance, you will debit your payable, isn't it, with the 4538, and therefore you credit your foreign exchange gain, isn't it? Credits are good within profit or loss, so you have a gain of 4538. Okay, so here what you've got is that statement of profit or loss is a gain. If you like, that's part of your operating activities, isn't it? So throw it there within your operating costs. It's a trading transaction, isn't it? Okay, excellent. Hopefully you're all happy with that figure there. So at the end of the year, statement of financial position shows a payable of 93023, and you've got there a gain in profit or loss of 4538. There we go. There's the journal entry, just to recap. Then what you've got, was it on the 10th of January 2016? That's when we pay the cash, isn't it? Okay, so what we're going to have to do there is that there will be a credit entry to the bank. So we pay 400,000 dinars, but to get 400,000 dinars, we need to look at the rate that's in place on that date. And the rate that's in place there is that 4.4, isn't it? So the rate that's in place is 4.4. So the amount of cash that we actually pay on that date is 90909. Okay, that's the physical amount of cash that we pay in dollars to settle that 400,000 dinar invoice. What we then need to do is we then need to debit the payable, don't we? Well, what was the payable at? We're paying the invoice in full, so we remove the invoice and the payable from our accounts. It's there as a 93023. The issue that you've got now is that you've removed the payable, so you've debited the payable with the full amount. The credits and the debits aren't equal, are they? So what we need to do there is we need to throw in a balancing figure. I think it's a credit figure, because you have an excess of debits over credits. That credit is 2114, and that credit there again is good on the statement of profit or loss, isn't it? And that's there a foreign exchange gain. It's just a balancing figure, and the reason why it is a gain is because it is a credit in profit or loss, isn't it? Okay, again, it's a trading transaction, so you could put that there through your operating costs. Okay, there we have it. That's pretty straightforward. I don't think you get anything much more complicated than that within the exam. The issue that you have is it's not just a nice, simple, isolated example like that. That's straightforward. There's a lot more going on within the overall bigger question as part of question 1 that leads into, if you like, your group accounts. You might have to deal with that transaction there within a group accounts situation. But don't worry about that. Don't get stressed. Don't get panicky. Just focus on getting that right first.